Ketanji Brown Jackson is Joe Biden's nominee for Supreme Court Justice. She was nominated really because of the color of her skin and because of her gender. This was tokenism on the part of Joe Biden. He didn't nominate her by introducing her and saying, wow, this person is the most highly qualified person that I can find, immutable characteristics notwithstanding, and she just happens to be a woman and just happens to be a Black woman. No, Joe Biden promised to nominate a Black woman because she is Black and because she is a woman, which I find to be, as a woman, I find to be fundamentally insulting. I want to be judged based on my character, based on my mind, based on my qualifications, not based on my genitalia, not based on how much melanin I have or do not have in my skin. So the nomination of this woman was problematic from the beginning. It was insulting of Joe Biden to nominate her. It's tokenism. It's also racial discrimination. When someone is picked based on an immutable characteristic, means someone else who might have deserved to be considered is not being considered based on the opposite, based on having the opposite immutable characteristic. So a man, for example, or someone with white skin, for example. The thing is, Ketanji Brown Jackson sitting in front of the Senate, these hearings are quite fascinating to watch because in 2022, in the fall of 2022, in November, the midterm elections, we should win back the House of Representatives. Now, I don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched. I don't put it past even Republicans to give away an election. But the House we should win back. Historically, the chances are high. Because historically, the midterm elections of a first-term president, that president's party, if they control the House, loses by a significant amount. That's simply the history of the thing. The Senate, however, is up for grabs. Right now, we have this 50-50 split in the Senate. It only tilts towards Democrats because Kamala Harris is the vice president. She gets to cast the tie-breaking vote. The Senate is up for grabs. It's not a done deal. And in fact, I'm watching these hearings and I'm thinking to myself, even though we cast our ballots in November, even though that's when the actual vote happens, the election itself is actually happening in the Senate right now. It's happening in the Senate right now because every single senator in the entire building, especially those who are in the middle, if you will, those who aren't necessarily tied always to their party's ideology. I'm talking about Manchin. I'm talking about Sinema on the Democrat side. I'm talking about Romney and Collins and Murkowski on the Republican side. These people right now are under our scrutiny. And what I mean by that is when Ketanji Brown Jackson makes comments that are so extreme and so radical and so outside of the mainstream viewpoint of both Republican voters and Democrat voters, these senators have to decide whether they're going to own what she has said if they vote for her to confirm her, or whether what she said is so extreme that they have to reject her. And so it's almost more of a referendum on the Senate, on the United States Senate, and on these senators than it is on Ketanji Brown Jackson.